All right, let's see if this works. Receiving your content. You are live. Excellent. So I got some new internet today. The Time Warner cable guys came by and upgraded us from 55 to 110, at least in theory. So I wanted to just kind of do a quick live stream to see if it makes a difference for you guys. I know the last one I did, there was, it dropped and cut out, especially when school got out. So also it will keep me from just constantly arguing on the internet, so I can get some stuff done. So that's the plan. Let me see if this is working. Live stream. Jessa, I messed up. How did you mess up, Chris? I thought about you today. I actually thought about, I've got this, I've got one of these gray bars, like big time gray bars phones here, the kind that are really severe. And I really think, Chris, that you should do a video where you kind of walk us through your little M1 grounding it and the consequences of that. I think you should do that. And if you don't do that, then I think that that we should do an example or something to kind of show everybody, because I thought that was pretty cool. So fast. All right, let's see if I can read this chat. Sweet iPad clamp. Oh, good. From Raoul. That's fantastic. Have I ever seen the headphone diode caps and filter all blown up? What device? Touch ID issues cropping up. No, I haven't done a video on Touch ID issues cropping up. Headphone. No. What up, David? A 6S with the headphone stuff all blown up, not water damaged, I guess. This is a different one than you were working on the other day. Chat has too much of a delay for live chat. No, I haven't seen that, but I have heard some kind of audio problems coming out of the 6S. We got a quote for one that was working fine, and the guy plugged it into something like a stadium, plugged it in to broadcast, and then after that it had some audio issues. So maybe there's something systemic about that, I'm not sure. Let's start our live stream to see if we can get banned off the Apple Support Community Forum today. So I'm going to show you, I'm going to answer a question. Let's answer a question over there. I found one to answer that I think will be good. So let's go to screen. Hopefully you can see that. Here's a poor guy. His iPhone 5 home button is sluggish. Is there a fix for sluggish iPhone 5 home button? And of course, the existing answers are try these steps. You can try to restart your device and clean it with a soft cloth. And if that doesn't work, then you have to go to Apple and get a new phone. So he's saying it's just a standard, bad button. So I told him the iPhone 5 is an older phone. The home button function itself depends on a teeny nub of plastic within a little popper. And after much use, it's common for this part to simply wear down or just stop making good mechanical connection to the underlying metal prongs it needs to talk to. And the good news is that it's easy to replace the iPhone 5 home button. Assuming your phone is too old to worry about warranty issues, you can either buy a home button and try a DIY fix if you're handy and risk tolerant, or you can take the phone to any independent repair shop and have the button replaced. If you go to Apple, they will only offer to sell you a refurbished iPhone 5 at $199. The common value of a used iPhone 5 is now about $100. Reply. So let's see how long that will stick up there. All right, back to live stream. All right, let's fix something. What should we fix? Let's see. Not water damage headphone stuff. I replaced all the components that were bad. Audio still wasn't working, very faint and distorted. Replaced audio IC, and now no boot, only works in DFU. I would pull the audio IC off and restore software. Yes, I did get my quick working. In fact, I should drag it over here and do a review. But I think Jean is in the middle of something. Jean's been using it, no complaints. I do plan to kind of make a review about it. I know that Raul from Prime Tech Tools has started to stock them for US, and that I think will be good. That's going to get banned. Yes, it is, I would guess. I don't see why. It's perfectly legitimate advice. Armando, hello, Jessa, tell me how to make videos. I don't have time. Neither do I, which is why I just live stream. Okay, let's do a repair. This one that is on the top of my list right now is, let's see. It's here for a connector, iPhone 6 charge port damage. Let's take some bets. Who bets that this simple port is not going to solve the actual problem? Let's see. Let's take a look at it. And under the microscope, it is, let's see if there's anything else going on. Pretty mangled. So technician damage here at the charge port. Maybe that's the only thing going on. Maybe it was like a real bona fide ham-handed noob doing his first ever repair, or DIY damage maybe. But there's probably 50% chance that somebody was troubleshooting charge port a lot, which is how they got into this problem, and that the underlying problem is going to be something else. So let's take a look at this phone before we start operating on it and see if there's anything else that jumps out. I don't see any long screw damage, which is good. Looks just kind of like a phone that's been rode hard and put away wet. I don't see any frank water damage. All right, let's go ahead and swap that out then. This probably would have been a really good one to demo the quick on, but I don't want to get it all set up. I would probably unplug the computer here that is powering this live stream. All right, so let's just take this thing off with some hot air. This is like super general micro soldering that everybody should be able to do. Basic skills to be able to swap connectors and chips. I'm not sure that I have a video on an iPhone 6 connector. The iPhone 6 connectors tend to be a little bit more rugged, which is good. They have these big anchors on them. So you usually have to use kind of a combination of hot air. Now when I pull this, watch what happens when I just pull this connector off. I'm going to pull it off and see how it pretty quickly disintegrates. Now that's going to be a problem if we wanted to reuse that connector. So I'll show you a trick to be able to harvest those connectors without letting that happen. So I want to get my new connector on here without having a whole lot of trouble reflowing these joints. So I would prefer if these joints were made with leaded instead of lead-free solder. So I'm just going to go over the existing joints with leaded to make it easy. Are the backlight soldier joints covered on the LCD Flex? On this phone? Or are you talking to some other phone? Peter Campbell, hi, iPhone 6 backlight diode keeps getting fried. I've pretty much replaced the entire circuit. No, you haven't. $10 says you did not find the original cause of the problem, which is one of the 3 caps. $10 says you did not replace the backlight caps, did you? I bet you replaced the filter, the diode, the chip, possibly the coil, and you never replaced the caps. And that is why your diode keeps blowing, because you still have to correct the same problem. All right, let's harvest this iPhone 6 charge port connector here, and we'll use that rather than go hunt one down. I replaced one cap. Why did you replace one cap? What made you pick that cap? Why did you replace one cap? What was your thought process there? Please don't tell me it's because Please Bros on the internet said replace some particular cap. What was your line of thinking that made you decide to replace one cap? It was shorted. Now, how do you know it was shorted? See that? We can pull the air away and the connector just comes right off. Super nice. As long as we don't let that air stick on the connector, we can harvest it nicely. Does anybody have any guesses as to why it is that a little connector like this will pretty much immediately disintegrate the second you lift it off the board if you still have the air flowing on it? Any guesses? What is it about the board that kind of protects it and keeps it from just disintegrating? The second it comes off the board, it loses that. The best solution for moving iCloud. Yes, I know that. No problem. I love answering this question. It is to go to iCloud.apple.com or something like that, maybe even iCloud.com, enter the Apple ID and password, and iCloud is gone. Poof. It's 100% tested working. Best solution there is. The short on the line disappeared when it was removed. All right, what short on the line? What made you think there was a short on the line? My iPhone 5S was run over. After swapping the logic board in another phone, I get gray bars and weird touch screen. Could it be the IC? Could it be the IC? Yes. It could be lots of ICs. You pretty much have a new phone though, so you swapped the logic board. Oh wait, is it? Yeah, you have a run over phone that you're trying to get work. Yeah, that's going to be all kinds of problems. All right, so let's just sort of tack this down a little bit so that we can use hot air to kind of flow it without it running away. Alrighty. Well, if I replaced the screen twice, same issue. Well, of course, you've got to run overboard. Yes, my phone repair. Woo! I love the course people that come watch the live streams. Thermal mass. The board is soaking up the heat. Yes, the heat will transfer. Nope, the heat will not transfer straight to the plastic. The board itself, the ground plane in the board. The ground plane in the board. A board is a giant piece of metal that when you put heat on it, it sucks into the ground plane of the board because of the extraordinary thermal mass of the board itself. And then as soon as you lift it off and it can no longer has this sort of runway for heat to dissipate into the board, then that heat has nowhere to go, like instantly. So when you lift it, if you still have the hot air on it, it's immediately going to just disintegrate. So all you have to do is get ready to lift it, take that hot air away, and it'll come off perfect just like this one did. All right, let's see. Peter Campbell's troubleshooting his iPhone 6 backlight. Tested continuity to ground after removing the middle cap, and the continuity to ground was gone. All right, fair enough. That's the right thing to do. Diode mode measurement is a little bit better because those tend to often have partial shorts on the iPhone 6. So if you're still blowing the diode, then you have created another short somewhere in your procedure. So you need to find that. So you need to figure out what line is shorted with your multimeter and relieve the short. There's no way the diode's going to blow unless you have a short somewhere. So go find it. There's no other way around it. All right, I'm just going to add a little bit to here, to some of these guys. My intention was to flow this on with hot air first and then come back through and do these, but I got distracted. And I don't think you can see me. You can't. All right, let's see. Let's do that. All right, board will suck some heat. Yes. What is the air temperature of your reflow station? Hot enough, not too hot. Same answer for everybody. Jesseph, I'm having trouble getting solder to flow to a copper pad. I had to scratch. No! Don't scratch. Any easier ways to make it flow? It'll flow as long as you don't have oxidation and as long as you don't have the pad missing. Where can I buy the replacement part? Replacement part for what? This chat is far more civilized. Yes, it is. It's because we don't talk about cocks as much on this channel. Back to it tomorrow. My iPhone 6 Plus turn on and after a few minutes it restarts by itself. Well, then you should troubleshoot why is it doing that. Think about what kind of signals the phone might get from, hint, the battery, that would make it think it might be on fire or think that there's some sort of a problem and therefore restart. All right, let's go ahead and use hot air and kind of reflow this connector back down. Alrighty. Has my Apple support post been deleted yet? Anybody know? There we go. All right. I won an iPhone 6 Plus schematic. Let's see. Oh, good. Somebody changed both touch ICs and did a repair for 160. That's fine. Make sure you add your future-proof shield. Your cock looks bigger than Lewis's. Oh, how about that? I replaced the battery, says Jose, who is troubleshooting his Why Does My Phone Reboot All the Time. And the phone starts with 100% battery and then it goes down to 70%. Well, then you need to troubleshoot that. All right, now let's take a look at this connector and see what we need to do. So we're gonna look at the joints on the side and they need a little kiss of the soldering iron. So I'm gonna use my mini hot tweezers to come along and do this other row. And then we can see whether or not this phone had a secondary charging problem that somebody was troubleshooting, or if somebody just totally bat fucked the connector for no reason at all. All right, let's tickle these joints. I like working on an angle like this. You can always get a better view from different angles. There we go. Looks good as new. Let's check this other side. They're okay, but we'll hit them again anyway, just to be complete. All right, let's see what else is going on up here. Replacement parts for iPhone repair and iPad screen connectors batteries. I don't know, man. Just get half your shit from Jason, half from China, and figure out a good domestic parts supplier. It's Raj. What up, Raj? Raj is troubleshooting his 6S TriStar job. What did you fuck up, Raj? Just show us a picture of the board somewhere. Did you, Raj, my advice to you from Practical Board Repair School alumni group was to look for any kind of pry damage that you might have done when you were doing the shield removal on that 6S. Did you find any kind of damage when you looked really closely with the microscope? I'm going to guess the answer is yes. And if so, what was it? I see some relation between number I don't know and number I don't know. I believe that cracked number I don't know next to the TriStar. Cracked! I knew it! You cracked something next to the TriStar. If you have cracked something on somebody's board that you're trying to fix, then you need to fix the thing that you cracked. Please read my above comment. That might be too much scrolling. Nope. And it won't charge. Also, the charging port is a new one. Would it be the chip? It's the battery, the TriStar, or the charging port. You just got to rule things out. All right, Chris Long with his troubleshooting his 6S, no audio. I pulled the audio IC. It will only show up the computer in DFU mode. If normal boot mode, it gets to 0.47 amp draw and reboots. I'm kind of convinced I overheated the CPU. I would be very surprised. I don't think that's the case. A 0.47 amp draw is normal for DFU mode. It sounds like the phone is auto booting to DFU mode. I would restore. Is practicing on iCloud lock phones the best way to start microsoldering? Sure. Odd, Chris Long, it will go into DFU though, but maybe just not broken enough to stop that. A lot of phones will go into DFU. You have to rule out software. So rule out software before you do anything else. No, there was no damage on U3700, says Raj. Raj, you just said, I believe that the cracked blank chip next to TriStar, blah, blah. Fix the cracked chip. This is not hard. You can't, this just drives me crazy. This is what I mean about like the need for just like basic common sense. I have a phone, it has a problem. I replace a chip to solve the problem, and it solves that problem. The guy comes back and he says, I have a different problem that it didn't have before. So you think, did I cause the problem or is it unrelated? I don't know. So then you take the phone in and you say, let me look to see if I might have caused the problem. And then you look around and you see there's a cracked chip from my shield removal. What do I do next? What do I do next? You fucking replace the thing you fucking cracked. This is, don't ask me any more questions until that chip is replaced. All right. Can you unlock iCloud phone? Yes, you can. You can do that so easy. I already told you guys once, but in case you missed it, you can unlock any iCloud locked phone. All you need to do is go to iCloud.com. And then it will ask you for the username, the Apple ID, type that in of the customer, and then it'll ask you for their password. So you just say, what's the password? And then you type in their password, and then it will be unlocked. Works 100%, so easy, no soldering required, fantastic solution. All right, how many years experience do you have with chip level repair? I don't know, maybe 5 by now. My iPhone 5S was run over. Wait, I already said that. That we got to be up to. We already talked about that. All right, here's Chris Long. DFU mode, when the computer kicks the phone out to start the restore process where Apple logo should show, it will not come back on to a point that the computer sees it. So does it show the Apple logo? iCloud stuff is comical. Rehot CPU. Bobby Gordon wants to know, how do you practice with no microscope? I don't know. I couldn't possibly imagine microsoldering without a microscope. Some people do it. Alfonso did it for years. My vision would be way, way, way too old lady to handle that. Oh, good. Raj is going to go change the cracked chip. Oh, that's great. No logo. So, okay, Chris, I'm going to have you checked your NAND power rails. Are you sure it's not like fake detect? I'm going on a microsoldering course next week. Any advice? Yeah, cancel and come to Practical Board Repair School. I don't have it with me, so I'll have to order from Jason or harvest off a donor board. That's just the way it is. Okay. Let's see if we're done here on our repair. How does this look? I think that looks good. So got a little flux. All right, let's see if that will actually charge now or not. All right, so I have a question for you guys. I want you guys to weigh in on this drama, shop drama. Everybody loves shop drama. All right, so here's the deal. All right, here's the deal. Ready to weigh in? Okay, so we get a phone from a customer, and it's here for data recovery. And he says, I have priceless photos on here, huge big deal. I'm an archaeologist, and there's, all of this precious information. Please recover the data. So we say, okay, so standard data recovery, recover the phone, and it gets to the passcode screen. So ready to type in his passcode, and the guy has provided the passcode, type it in, and it says no. So we shoot him an email, you got the wrong passcode. And he says, I really pretty much only use that passcode. So he gave us a couple of guesses that were pretty much the same thing oriented in a different way. And they're all wrong. So we guessed, like 5 of them, and then it's going to start becoming disabled. So that can cut off your path to data. So I then said, let's make sure that you sent us the phone that you actually intended to send us. So I took a picture of the lock screen of the phone and said, this is the phone that we just recovered. And he said, that's not my phone. So whose phone is that? So it'd be really hard for us to, mix up a phone. Every board, gets labeled, every screen is labeled, we have label on the back, on the board, on the front, and little stickers on the screws. Everything is just, the shit is labeled out of it just to avoid that problem. But even still, we were like, could we have swapped his boards? We kind of did an inventory, and it was like, no, that's the only black 6 that came in that day. So I told him, I just don't see how we could have mixed this up. Is there any way that you might have sent us, your wife's phone or something? And he said, well, I guess it could have been the other shop I sent it to first. Oh, fantastic. So we call the other shop and say, is there any chance that you sent us the wrong board, or you gave this guy back the wrong phone? No, impossible, can't happen. And so somebody swapped the board. So then how do you figure out whose phone is it that we have in order to kind of get to the end of the mystery? And what we ended up doing, this was Ben Duffy's good idea that solved this. Ben Duffy from Geelong Microsoldering in Australia. And he said, why don't you take, Jessa, your personal SIM and put it in the phone, even though it's locked, because your SIM then will allow it to start getting notifications on top of the lock screen, and maybe you'll see something from there. Genius idea, love that. So I did that, and then I started to get some notifications, and so I got a notification that was something like, guy's name is sharing his location with you. Would you like to share your location? And so I was able to kind of do internet detective to figure out from the guy's name and what iTunes saw the phone as. I figured out whose phone this was. And so then what do? Where does this person live? This person lived in the same town as the first shop. So then you're pretty sure, all right, here's what happened, that they went to this shop at the same time as my customer, and that shop swapped these boards. So I call the shop back and I say, all right, you swap these boards, And then what was egregious about it is that it turned out one of them was a 6S and one of them was a 6. So they have swapped a 6S and a 6, which that's pretty hard to do. And so they still had my customer's actual original phone, thank God. So they sent us his phone, and so now we have both phones. The one that we've already recovered that belongs to this stranger who was previously their customer, and the actual board from my customer that wants his data. So that was a 6S. So we recovered that. Thank God it was recoverable. And we saw the archaeology pictures that were on there. That phone was a hoot. And got him all his data, and he was just happy to have his data. And we just sent him back the board that they had sent us, and we still have the first phone. So the first phone now belongs to someone who doesn't even know who we are. So we're in possession of a recovered phone that belongs to this couple, out in another state. And so the shop, the original shop, said, yeah, we're really sorry about that. Thanks for thanks for being cool about this. And I'm like, well, what do you want us to do here? Because we have recovered this phone. We did data recovery on it, and you guys messed up. You sent us the wrong board. We had to do 2 data recoveries here. And that shop happened to have another job here with us for data recovery for somebody else. So I talked with a guy and I said, I can understand how something like this would happen. And, I'm glad that it all is going to work out for the customers, and I don't intend to throw you guys under the bus. And I know that we talked about what was the deal that he had made with this customer. And they had brought it in for no power, so I agreed to charge him for a no power solution rather than data recovery, and that we would send it back out, and he could then, sell it or do whatever he's going to do with that phone. And so that was the deal. So then we were recovering the second phone that they have sent us, and we get it recovered. Passcode's wrong. God fucking damn it. So we then call them up, send us the right fucking passcode. And it took them a couple of weeks to finally get the right passcode. And they start saying things like, what if the customer changes their mind? What? You're my customer. I don't know your customer. You deal with your customers. You're my customer. You sent me a phone for data recovery. I recovered the data. You need to pay for data recovery. That's it. And so eventually, so they're now on the hook for this data recovery that they sent us, plus the original fuck up, which is a no power solution, $200. And so he sends an email today, and this is what I want to know, what would you guys do? So he sends an email today going, can you just send us back the data recovery, the second data recovery? We'll just pay you for that because we didn't send you that original phone, the customer did. And so we don't really have anything to do with that. We don't want to pay for that. That guy's long gone. So we don't want to pay you for recovering the phone that we fucked up and sent you somebody else's board that you had to fucking stalk in order to figure out who it was, because we originally said, couldn't be us. But we, because my deal with them is I'm not sending either one of these phones until you pay for both of them, because, that's just the way it is. So how would you respond to the email? Oh, can we just pay for the one? Because we don't really want to have anything. We want to stiff you on having to recover that phone that we accidentally swapped on that guy. We just want you to suck our dick on that, Jessa. What would you guys say? Let's see what the answers are. The funniest part of the story was the guy's phone, the archaeology pictures. It is NSFW and certainly not appropriate for YouTube. But man, that shit was hilarious. All right, what's going on here? Micro tweezers in the micro pencil. I never use the micro pencil. You like the micro pencil? Why don't you use the IP box for resetting lock screen password? Because that shit does not work unless you got a super old phone. Hello from Greece. Did you give any solution for activation lock? Yes, I did. I've already given you a perfect solution twice on this exact stream. You can rewind and read all about it. All right. Did he tip you for all the extra work? No, he did not. He's stiffing me on the first bill. Let's see. Somebody repaired a $6,000. Oh, is that a S6000 motherboard? I ripped traces off. Good. Don't deal with these Muppets again. Poor business ethics. Yes. It would be along the lines of pay up before these phones become donor boards. Send itemized bill with no comment. I would tell the shop that I was going to contact the owner of the phone and explain the situation if they didn't want to pay for the job. Yes, that's what I'm inclined to do. That's my plan. I wanted to see what you guys think. Keep the phones until they pay, make them pay for both. I guess it depends on the work performed. No, it doesn't. I am not a fan of that. It is solutions-based, flat rate, it doesn't matter. And yes, of course I had to do board work. They're here for data recovery, dead phones. I made the mistake. I would have paid for both and my problem, not yours. Yeah, they're running a business. They fucked up. They should have to pay for both. I would say, pay up, bitch. I would contact the persons that the phone belongs. Never deal with them again. Show them your cock. Yes. Fuck you guys. Pay the fucking bill. Happy new roaster years. I would make them pay for both unless they won't get neither back and not deal with them again. Let's see. I would keep it for 3 months and then get rid of it. Chuck them under the next bus. Bill them for all the work done and don't accept any new jobs until it's settled. They will learn not to mix up phones. That's right. They pay or fire them. Okay. Wonder if they watch your channel. I don't know. And I really don't fucking give a shit either. I hope they do. I'm not going to say their name, but, I think that if they watch the channel, fantastic. Then they can kind of, see the comments. Here's the deal. You don't get to swap someone's board, especially when the customer had what he felt were priceless archaeology pictures from dig sites that are now destroyed. So this is the only remaining in the whole fucking world, the only remaining, history of that place is on this phone. And you take it in for, let's see if we can recover the data. Let me try to scrub it with a toothbrush. It doesn't work. And then you are so careless that you or someone on your team mixes up an iPhone 6S, which is what he gave you, and gives him back somebody else's iPhone 6. What kind of fucked up record keeping do you have that you take in a 6S and you hand back a 6 and nobody recognizes that? That's fucked up. You really made a mistake there, and you got to man up about that. So then so the guy leaves, and then he now sends me the phone that someone else is now, some stranger out in the world. I am in possession of her phone. I can see her notifications. I can see enough personal information on her phone that has been sent to me because of your fuck up. I can see her personal information. I can stalk her. I can figure out what her phone number is, her email address. I could drive to her house and be like, is this your phone? I mean, that's so egregious. But your fuck up has created that situation. And at the time, I could have just called her up and been like, hey, guess what? I have your phone here. Guess where I got it? And what do you think? How do you think she would then feel about your business and all of her local friends that are local to your area? This is a really fucking huge fuck up. And so then, your attitude when you fuck up that royally should be, we will pay for data recovery on that phone and send it back to us. And we so appreciate you not throwing us under the bus and not calling that customer and telling her about this fuck up, and you kind of respecting, bros before hoes in the repair community. That's what you say. You don't say, yeah, well, we didn't really send you that phone, so we don't want to pay the negotiated down bill for just a no power solution. We want you to just not tell the customer about our fuck up, and we don't want to pay the bill, and we want for you to just send us back, and we want you to just send us back this other phone that you recovered that we don't really know the passcode for, and by the way, it's a 5S. We just want you to send us back the iPhone 5. Here's a newsflash. The 5 and the 5S are completely different phones. The 6 and the 6S are completely different phones. If you guys can't recognize the difference between a 5 and a 5S or a 6 and a 6S, maybe you shouldn't be repairing phones. It's certainly not, excepting in people's priceless archaeology pictures, that are the last remnants in the world of this amazing history. You shouldn't take that in for data recovery, at least until you can tell the difference between an iPhone 5 and an iPhone 5S and an iPhone 6 and an iPhone 6S. That's just my tip. So it was just funny. I got a call from the business manager. The email that she sent me was something like, I'll handle this, but I just wanted to let you put this on your radar screen because I know how you like to ream people out. I don't like to ream people out, but I was just so over the top. It was just ridiculous. Lewis, did you see? I sent you that email. Did you see that? It was. Do you know what I'm talking about? This was that phone from that shop. It's too long. Can you believe that they say we sent you the wrong board, and we now we have another phone that is for them for data recovery. And they're saying, how about we just pay you for the latest one and you suck it up and just, you suck our dick on recovering that first one. Which, by the way, I'd already, out of just fucking compassion, negotiated down from data recovery to no power solution because, they were cool about it. They acknowledged the mistake. But in hindsight, it's like they only acknowledged it because I fucking sleuthed it out, Like if I hadn't been able to figure out the owner of that phone, then I would have, they would have never even found and produced the actual data containing phone. Just what a fucking nightmare. Shut the fuck up and pay the bill. Yes. Or I'm going to make, that's what I should do. I should have Lewis call them and negotiate this all for me because he really loves to ream people out. All right, let's see what's up with this board now. Let's see if it is going to charge because that way I can move on. And it's funny, the entire reason I started this live stream right now was because I wanted to see if the internet was better, which that's still a question. Is the internet better? And I also wanted to stop arguing with Lewis. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to stop fucking debating about stupid bullshit and get fucking work done. But that's really not working out for me at all. All right. Let's see what else this is. Tell them to suck Vicks. I saw the email. Tell them to suck a fucking dick. Yes. All right, let's see. Is this gonna... All right, who thinks that this is going to charge? Let's actually look at the mating side of the charge ports before we go too crazy with this. All right, that still looks good. All right, let's see. Let's see if it's gonna happen to charge. All righty. Lewis, I looked for you to live stream today. Did you go to work? Did you make it to work today at all? All right. I had to go to the fucking dentist for 2 hours, which was almost enough to make me decide to stop drinking Diet Coke. Almost enough. I've been really cutting back. Look, I've been drinking not Diet Coke. Look at that. That's not Diet Coke. Yeah, that was pretty brutal. All right. How do I make that, work better so that I can see stuff? Let's just scroll down to the end. Not live streaming. Lewis, buy a bunch of cocks and put them up for sale. When do you want to try to get banned from Apple support community? I've decided from now until the right to repair season is decided, then that I'm going to start every video with a Apple support community forum post to see if it gets deleted. I should check on that. I want to see if they actually let one stand. I would be surprised, but you never know. Maybe they will. All right, let's plug this in and get to the moment of truth. And see if this charges now. Of course it doesn't fucking charge. God damn it. 0. Fantastic. All right, what do you do next? What do you do when you fix somebody's charge port job? And this is what I like about, make it charge again solution rather than hands for hire charge port. So we accepted this repair as we will make this thing charge again, whatever it takes, rather than sure we'll just replace your botched charge port. This is going to almost always be we fucked up the charge port because we were troubleshooting something else. Especially when it's an iPhone 6, 6S, 6 Plus, 6S Plus. Those have beefy connectors. It is hard. You have to be a special kind of retard in order to bang out and damage one of these connectors. And most people, especially professionals, will stop short of that, and they will not do that kind of damage because it is hard to do. So when you do see connector damage in these sort of late model phones, you can almost always be sure that happened because of them troubleshooting some other problem. So we will start with, just good battery and good dock and see. Let's see. I smashed my teeth on concrete at full speed and no enamel chip, no dentist. I know. Yes, I am aware. But seriously, I was still thinking of possible fights that you could instead claim instead of the concrete story, which I still think you should go with. Lewis should honestly live stream your day. That's pretty funny. How do I make that different? It's too hard to scroll all this shit. Okay, that's better. All right, what else is in here? Stop drinking that stuff. What? You can't drink fucking water? Oh, the Diet Coke. What? Jessa, stop saying bad words. Baby, I am virgin. Huh. A lot of cursing when live. Yeah, that's the secret. She said retard. Ha! Yeah. I am against the changing of our lexicon to suit specific groups. I'm not really a big fan of that. I think that's just a little too entitled, I guess. I don't know. I don't think that anybody really wants you to change a language to benefit your sensibilities. That's ridiculous. Alrighty, let's see if it will charge with a known good battery. And it gives us this number, which is a little, well, I guess that's normal. It looks like it's booting up. So with the known good battery and the known good charge port, it will charge. So it was a parts problem at least instead of a board problem. I want to see it actually boot though. And we will pass that off to repair team. All right, there we go. Touch works. And charging works. Charging is solved. Oh God, Lewis, I'm not going to talk about immigration again. Jessa have beat you in trash talk. Yes. Jessa wants to import cheap migrants to replace existing. I would never replace my existing staff. Louis Rossman, you would too if you didn't think Apple. No, you wouldn't. He already has enough of a melting pot in his shop. I have nothing but white moms. I mean, it's totally lack of diversity. I would like my children to see a single black person before they graduate from high school. I mean, that would be my motivation. Brown people do not exist, only white people in Honey I Falls, and I can't stand it. When I grew up, it is really hard to wrap your mind around raising a child where there is zero diversity. It is, not good for them. And then when you combine that with, hey, let's hate people on TV constantly, it is, really, really not cool. But what are you going to do? All right, so this one I'm going to put over there for reassembly. And the only other one that I'm going to look at, it's probably a waste of time, is this really piece of shit data recovery, just to make this point about why ultrasonic cleaning. Oh, Lewis is selling ultrasonic cleaners. Let's do a demo of the Crest so you can see how awesome it is. And all right, I'm going to put this for reassembly. This is done. All right. Please, Jessa, if anyone gets Lewis started on politics, please mute them and Lewis if he gets bad. He's not bad. He's always reasonable. Stop kicking my ass, please. How do you know which way a cap set on a pad? The way that it first fell on there, it doesn't matter. Jessa, I grew up in the far north of Scoreland. Wow, Scoreland, I don't even know where that is. Even slightly tanned white people didn't exist. Too cold. That's pretty funny. All right. One of the things on my bucket list is I really would like to see the aurora. That's like I think that might be the only thing that's actually on my bucket list. But that's hard to plan around because you can't really know when that's going to be. Jessa, do you repair baseband chips? Never saw you on a video. Yeah, that's because the answer is fuck no. All right, let's look at this. It's an iPhone 5, according to the other shop, but it's actually a 5S. This is an iPhone 5S here for water damage, dead data recovery. Need pictures, invoice memos. All right, we'll see. Yeah, I mean the northern lights, the aurora. Google it and set it as your wallpaper. That's not really what I had in mind. Chris Long, I think that you should go do your same experiment and come up with some kind of solution, or just clarify the details of that baseband CPU fault where the pads are gone. Do your little grounding it out and see what it actually does, like you did with the Mason chip. I think that would be fantastic, and you should make some videos. Okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this board and see if we can guess what's wrong with it. Let's see, how bad is this? Not too bad up here. I don't see any water. I definitely see water and shit falling off. And green stuff. And more green stuff. Great. And, whoa, looks like it spent some time at the bottom of a fish tank or on Mars. All right, here's what I want to do with this. I want to show you guys using the amazing Crest ultrasonic cleaner, as you can buy from whatever Lewis's site is. I want to show you what the Crest can and can't do if you don't desolder the shields. So let's just take this and put it in the ultrasonic, and then we'll look at it again when it comes out. I kind of feel like I should take off. I'm going to take off this shield so that you can see what it looks like. But we'll leave the other one on. All right, so let's just take off this bottom shield so that we can actually see it do work, because it looks like Somebody might have already put it in a jewelry cleaner before, I don't know. Yes, it does look gross. It looks pretty bad. So we'll just see. Alright, I'm just going to pop this shield off. That's taking a lot longer than usual. What's up with that? Is it welded on there by rust? Gross! Alright, let's look under there. Nasty! Alright, some more green gunk. So let's go ahead and pop this in ultrasonic and see how that does. Alright, let's make this be camera. FL11 is damaged. Yes, it is. So clean you could eat off of it. I didn't know 1975 had an iPhone. But comment stream is getting their funny on today. Parts board. This one, no. I have an activation lock. Oh yeah, we're going to talk more about. I can remove activation lock for free. I hope I will make it to the course on Monday. Yeah, coming from Holland, can they say that they don't like my name? Let's be positive. No, but speaking of, what we were just talking about you, I was thinking about a lot of times when international folks come to the course, then they're like, want to buy equipment. I don't really sell equipment. So if you are coming to the course, international, I think there's 2 guys this week, and then one. And what is up with Scandinavia? Like, there's a guy from Norway, a guy from Sweden, and a guy from Finland in the next two courses. So, but if you're coming international to Practical Board Repair School and you want to go home with equipment, you should try to figure out how to source stuff and have it mailed to the shop so that you can take it home with you. I'm not going to have microscopes and stuff for sale. That's just not what I do. So if you want to buy like a crest from Lewis and have him send it here to the shop, he can do that so that you can take it home with you on the plane and save all that shipping. If you want to call Amscope or Raoul from Prime Tech Tools, or even have Jason, deliver chips. Mark does sell at the course. Mark sells his amazing parts starter kit. So Mark sells, this is what I actually use all the time. So this is Mark's iPhone repair starter kit. It's something like $400, maybe $350, I'm not really sure. But what's great about it is that, he writes on here, this says backlight cap, iPhone 6, C1530, C1531, C1505. So you know that all of those parts are this same dude. Like this. Backlight diode, iPhone 5C, 5S, D1, iPhone 6 Plus, D1501, or D1589. So you know that sort of that cross match is pre-done. So he's got, a couple of each connector and something like 10 TriStars, 10 Mason Cumulus, that kind of stuff. And then he has like 2 backlight drivers and other sort of common chips. So it's all sort of the chips that commonly fail, the common repairs that you're going to see, backlight filters and diodes and connectors and like an air charge port, mini charge port. So that kind of starter kit is fantastic so that you can kind of start taking repairs right away. So if you want to buy one of those, Jason sells them on microsolderingsupply.com, or you can contact Mark directly, and he brings them to the course. So if you're coming to the course, that is one thing that he usually will take orders on Monday and then have them ready to go however many people need them that week, and you can get that while you're here at the course. But all the other little stuff, the freeze spray and we do sell the standoff drivers at the course, the amazing $7 standoff drivers that no one can live without. But tweezers, your hot air station, if you want to order the quick, which I would recommend for if you're just starting out from Raoul, and have it here. Do that like now, so that way it's not like a big rush to kind of meet shipping deadlines and stuff if you're coming to the course international and you need it here by next Friday. All right, let's get that board out of Ultrasonic. All right, let's see how it did. Jessa, have you ever seen Ashfaq videos? Yes, I have, of course. All right, let's look and see how well did the Crest Ultrasonic Cleaner do. So this is what it looks like now. So all of the green stuff and schmutz is gone. Oxidation itself is always going to be present. So you can't remove oxidation, but you can remove corrosion. At least that's how I think of it. All right, so that cleaned up pretty well over here, and it cleaned up. There wasn't very much up at this end of the board. And let's look now. We did not remove this bottom shield. We did not remove the bottom shield before ultrasonic, so let's look under there now to see how well did the Crest Ultrasonic Cleaner, best of the best, do under the shield. So we're going to take that shield off and take a look. All right. I don't know how to make that bigger. I gotta figure out a better way to read this. Anyone have advice for 6S reboots when the front camera is plugged in? Yeah, don't plug in the front camera. That's a good idea. Otherwise, boots normal. When front camera is plugged in. Well, that sucks because I'm pretty sure in the 6S, the front camera power is from the CPU, where the rear camera is from the little LDO chip. Let's take this shield off. And while we're at it, let's take off the CPU shield as well. Alrighty, now let's take a look. Alright, let's look under the shield that's already been through the Crest. Here's the shield itself. So that doesn't look that hopeful. It didn't even, clean the sort of obvious stuff. All right, let's look. Yeah, there we go. So let's compare. Look at that. Look at that. You can see rust. I mean, frank rust. This has been through the crest, but with the shield on. Look at that. Look at that. That is ridiculous. And the idea of people not desoldering the shields and, you know, just kind of running something through a cheap ultrasonic and and then charging money for professional cleaning. This is what those boards look like under those shields. Totally, totally not cool. And compare to this side did look like that, and look at how nicely that has cleaned up. All right, so this one's going to have to go back in the crest because crest ultrasonic cleaning with shields on doesn't count. Look at that. That's total shit. All right. So let's stick that back in there then. So there you go. I'm a big fan of kind of community know better, do better. You know, there's no way that someone can say, yeah, I charge people to professionally clean their water damaged phone for cheap, and all I do is take the board out and I run it through the jewelry cleaner, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You're not really doing anything because the phone's still going to look like that when you give it back to them and you take their money. They believe that you cleaned their board. That means cleaned it, like took it out and made it clean and put it back in again. You can't not clean the board and charge somebody for cleaning the board. That's not okay. You know that you can't do that. That's bad repair. And when you see people arguing for that, well, you know, it's water damage and, you know, it's only $39 or whatever, they are taking people's money and not cleaning the board. They're selling water damage cleaning and then not cleaning. You can't do that. That is not okay. It is not okay. So when you see people talking in forums around, you know, around the community, you know, tell people to knock that shit off. It's just not cool. All right, how long do you run the cleaning? 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes maybe. Branson EC is the liquid used in the ultrasonic cleaner, yes. Work until you no longer have to introduce yourself. Alrighty. Let's see what else is in there. I cannot read Arabic. I know the temps are all relative to how you use it and the station you have, but what temps do you normally none? Hot enough, not too hot. I'm not ever going to tell temperatures on here. It's just, if you start telling temperatures, here's what happens. If you say a number, then someone is going to take some random machine that is probably a crappy one that is making up a number, and they're going to think that that number has meaning because it's there. It's on the, how can you ignore it? It's right there in big letters. So then they're going to set their station at whatever number Jessa uses or said, and then who the hell knows what kind of hot air is going to come out? Who knows what nozzle they're using? Who knows how close or far to the board they are? Who knows what angle they are using as they approach this chip? And when the chip doesn't come off, they're going to think, I'm doing everything right. I am on the temperature that Jessa said. So therefore, they're not going to think or respond or learn the art of interacting with the board, of listening to it, of watching it, of feeling it, of even just the smell of underfill. You can tell it's at a certain temperature, of how things will respond with this much flux or that much flux. You have to develop that art. You know, no one can tell you, paint a picture of a rose and use red 551. You have to interact with this medium in order to be able to learn and how to respond and hear the board talk to you and feel it and become more of an artist than a scientist when it comes to changing chips on boards. And I know that it's easy to say that and it's hard to do that, So you really have no business trying to change a chip on a repairable board until you have already learned how to change chips on unrepairable boards. So that means you get a feel for the art of how long should it take to get a chip off. And you can kind of see, watching videos, about how long it takes to get a chip off a board. You can see when I change chips. Let that sort of time be your guide, not the temperature. And you just really have to kind of sort it out for yourself. I would be doing a disservice to boards of the world and allowing them to sacrifice their lives. Repairable boards becoming unrepairable if I were to state a number that people should maybe be in the ballpark of. I'm not going to do that. You have to figure that out on your own through practice on bad boards. That's just the way it is. All right, this is done. Let's grab it. All right, let's look and see what it looks like now. All right. Where is this? Microscope. Let's look. Okay, so here is the side that we just had to clean. Look at how well that cleaned up. So this is the Crest heated timer 500, which is a 1.5, I think, gallon size. I'm not really sure. If you're going to get a Crest, I recommend that you get one that is big enough for MacBooks, since a lot of those, they just get less liquid damage. They don't go in swimming pools or toilets. MacBooks get, orange juice spilled on them. So the liquid damage, a lot of the time, can just clean right up and the board will be fine. All right, so that looks like 1,000 times better. This is a board that has been cleaned. And if you wanted to, say my business model is I take the shields off and run things through the Crest, and if they come back, great, and if they don't, then, fair enough. Then that's fine. This board has been cleaned, and if you wanted to charge somebody for cleaning it, then you cleaned it. Fair enough. All right, let's see. Who's coming from Norway? I don't remember. Jessa only does water damage repair for data. She doesn't give the phone back. I do give the phone back. I don't keep the phones. And I do, if this is about, do you put the shields back on? The answer is absolutely. I always put the shields back on because I want to preserve their ability, their potential ability to go to pursue some kind of an out of warranty swap. So let's say I took all of the chips off of this board in my troubleshooting. If I put the shield back on, it looks like a standard water damaged board, and Apple will accept water damaged devices for out of warranty swap. If I take the shield and throw it away, and I give them back the board and it's missing chips, there's a chance that they could get bounced from out of warranty exchange due to pre-existing condition. All right, I don't think I want to sit here and troubleshoot this board because this is kind of getting long, but let's just see if I need to do any troubleshooting at all. At what color do you change your ultrasonic cleaning fluid? Urine? Probably severely dehydrated person urine. Honestly, I change it whenever someone leaves. We leave ours on all the time. I don't turn it off and on. I think that's BS. So ours is on all the time, and whenever someone accidentally leaves the lid off, so usually during course week, one of the students will leave the lid off, and it'll evaporate down, then I will change it. So it kind of ends up being once a month. All right, what else is this? Jessa does use chip quick flux, which is in my description. There's a link of the exact flux that I use and everything else. So I've been trying to be better at updating links and putting them in the description of every video for you guys that want to source equipment. Alrighty. Your air extraction is very quiet. Yes, it is. Okay. All right, let's kind of wrap this up. All right, let's just check to see, before we do anything else, how is the old VCC main on this board? It's like 7. I'm fucking tired. I'm not getting to bed on time, which sucks. I had been doing so well. All right, let's see. I don't really have the 5S values memorized. I think this is going to be something close to maybe 0.15 or nope, it's still it's the 0.3. I'm thinking of the 5. All right, yay, VCC main is fine. In which case, I don't have a problem putting some current through this board and seeing if the ultrasonic cleaning is enough to bring it back to life, which I think, honestly, I think it has a pretty good chance. I think that the majority of this was corrosion around PMIC and clear obvious shorts that are now cleared. Looks good up here by NAND, looks good by backlight touch. Display driver, all the connectors look fantastic. So the only real damage was down here at battery connector and power management chip. So it may need a new power management chip. It may need some work here with some of these filters, but I think it's definitely worth the shot to see what the deal is if I try and put some known good parts on here. Which, if this board turns on because I cleaned it, desoldered the shields and the crests, then I'm gonna fucking pursue Lewis for commission on selling his fucking crests. That's for damn sure. I was like, you really should have some crests here at the shop. You should email the students and see if they want to buy one. He's like, I'm not emailing your students. That's like a violation of their privacy. And I was like, you're a rock star. I'm sure they would be honored. And I said, if you want me to email them to see if they want to buy a crest from you, then you have to pay commission. And he was, he objected to that on moral principle. I think this is probably okay. Let's see. Let's go back to camera. I need to get out of here. It would be nice to have an easy board for once. A nice board that just comes right back after a little bath. We almost never get those. Let's see. Which one of these screens is good? Wouldn't it be nice to end the day with an easy repair that involved no troubleshooting? Wouldn't that be something? Alrighty. Do you know it's possible to connect back a broken flex cable? If you wanted to devote your life to it, sure, but it's way too big of a pain in the ass just to have touch. Nobody really cares about touch ID. And if you accidentally broke it from a customer, just go over to Apple and get a new screen, and it'll come with a new Touch ID fingerprint sensor paired to the board. That's what I would do. I mean, that's a really frustrating repair. All right, let's prompt the boot, see what happens. Not practical, that's right, it's not practical. So this has a small, tiny short. It's consuming like 710 milliamps just kind of before prompt to boot. So that's not a lot. So we'll see if it can survive that. Come on, fucker, boot. Yay! Fan spin, I'm done. Fuck. All right, what's it doing? It's a 50 milliamp phone now. $70 milliamps. Let's try that again. All right, I'm not 100% sure that this battery connector is making a good connection, because that was like really, really where all the damage was. All right, let's see what the... now it is consuming too much. It's 60 before prompt to boot. That's too much. So that means go find a short, a partial short. Something's a little bit bad. So that's going to take a little bit of work, but we'll probably be able to get it. Yeah, 60, that's too much for it to live with. It might be able to get to live with a little 10 milliamp leak. Oh, it's responding a little bit to that. There it goes. Yay! No! All right, let's actually, I'm going to clean up this battery connector so that it can just really get a good connection with the battery. All right, let's see. Fan spin. Fan spin, go home. Oh yeah, look at that. That's like barely on there. Oh yeah. That's what I like to see. A barely hanging on by a thread piece of shit battery. This is gonna be all this thing needs. Have you ever tried to repair an iPod? Sure, my sister's, because it was like special to her, but in general, I mean, we used to back in the day, back when back in dining room days, sure. All right, let's see if we can get by with just kind of massaging these along without having to really pull this whole connector off. I'm gonna make this phone great again. It's gonna be fine. Gotta kick this on. That's a lot. Make this battery connector great again. I did kind of want to know, just sort of like in general, you kind of like, I think the world is becoming increasingly, I gotta go check if they deleted my reply. I think the world is becoming increasingly divided into the people that you talk to all the time and the people that you don't talk to anymore. And I think that's a real shame. I've heard a couple people saying, like, I just can't stand the way it makes me feel to be on Facebook anymore. I can't stand to start every day getting angry at, what these idiots say. And everyone else, they are the idiots. So you got us and you got them, and everybody's got an us and a them. And the thing is that people don't cross the lines anymore, and that's I think the biggest mistake that you can make. I noticed it with an old friend who I really like. I feel like I've kind of amassed these collections of relationships, of people that I genuinely like and respect, and kind of think of them as reasonable people. And when someone that I think of as a reasonable person has a really different viewpoint than mine, I really want to know. I want to know why. Like, what is it that speaks to you? So. But I noticed, like, on his post, he's a police officer. He's in Florida, and he went to his daughter's 4-year-old daughter's school, like preschool school kind of daddy goes to work day thing. And there were all the other dads there, and most of them were wearing, business suits. And he was wearing a sort of I think like the casual cop uniform. So it was a polo shirt with a badge and a gun. And so if he were dressed in the sort of more traditional police officer uniform, you would expect a police officer to have a gun. But he sort of sounds like he was dressed like the golfer version police officer, and but also had a gun as part of his uniform. And the lady comes up and says, "I'm going to ask you a really strange question, but can I ask you to put your gun away because it's kind of making some people nervous?" And I loved his response where he said, I can't put my gun away because it's part of my uniform and I cannot be a uniformed police officer that's unarmed. But if you would like, I can leave. If it's making people uncomfortable, I can leave. I thought that was a perfect response, and she said no and asked him to stay. And he said the story, and everyone on his feed, which are primarily like-minded friends, were just like, "What fucking idiots, they know how much safer they were with you there, and how people kill people, not guns kill people." And it was this sort of like very, very like-minded rant, that I remember thinking, guns are kind of scary, honestly. Like if you walked into my child's kindergarten classroom with a bottle of cyanide, kids are kind of obnoxious, kids are kind of grabby, kids are kind of messy. I don't think a 4-year-old can disarm a police officer, but kids can be pretty fucking wild, And I could see that if you walked into the kindergarten classroom with a giant bear trap or a really sharp machete, some shit's dangerous, and I can understand that would make someone nervous. It would make me nervous if someone came into the kindergarten class carrying 220 volt live wires, a vest that all they had to do was press a button and it would set off a bomb. I would be nervous about that, even if I trusted them to be in full control. And that's what you have to do. You have to trust this stranger that they're in control of something dangerous. There's lots of shit that's dangerous. Pencils are dangerous. These tweezers are dangerous. But I just saw this sort of like crazy, just freaking out of how could anyone be so stupid to be afraid of a police officer with a gun. My dad was a police officer, and I remember sitting there watching him, put a gun on, and I remember thinking, that shit is serious, and you should be fucking afraid of a gun. If you're not afraid of a gun, then it's a toy. Oh, it was a gun. Oh, I can't hurt any people. People hurt people, not guns. That's a mistake. And what I kind of took from this is the importance of chirping up, of saying your alternative viewpoint, like it's just so bad when we kind of go to the corners where it's, my people and the people that think like I do. And the more we talk to each other, the more separated we become from those people and those stupid people. And how the fuck could anyone think like them? Well, you're never going to find out unless you go talk to them. And the more phones we see where just every fucking phone in this queue for data recovery, this phone right here, when this phone gets recovered, it is going to have the same pictures of sushi and an amazing sunset, and some little kid's birthday is going to be on there, and funny memes and a recipe. I mean, everybody has this so similar life all around the world. The phone can be entirely in French. Then it'll probably have a little bit more of the porn rather than a little bit less, and they're just so the same. People are so the same, wanting what's best for your kids, and wanting to be happy, wanting your children to be happy, wanting to be able to balance work and life, wanting to get a good deal on something. We just think the same all around the world so much, and I hate to see us growing so distant. It's just so sad. All right. The flux you use is better than the one Lewis is using. Yay! I got a vote. Somebody voted for me. Everybody hates my flux. I think my flux is totally great. I should start selling my own flux. It's in the link in my description if you want to buy the Chip Quick SMD 291. You know, it's just the flux that I happen to use, kind of randomly, but I always liked it, so stuck with it. All right, let's see if that did anything, and then I think it's time to split. I think I have too many rants for one day. What you feel is wrong about that in a respectful way. Are you going to update your ultrasonic cleaner links to mail and repair? Fuck that! Not unless the guy at the other end of mail and repair wants to pay Amazon affiliate commission. Then sure. Why don't you go have a talk with him? I really should though. I would do that for him. I will update those links. Lewis, if you're still watching, go update my links and point them to you for ultrasonic cleaner. That I will do. That definitely makes sense. I won't make you pay commission on that. I will do that for you purely out of friendship. French, watch more porn. Yes. Everybody's got porn. Probably 1 out of 3 phones is nothing but porn. People always flock to like-minded people. I accept that when I talk to anyone about a controversial topic. You have to keep an open mind and listen to what they say. Understand it, but then address it. Yeah. Try to find what it is that motivates them to feel the way they do. Alrighty. And I gotta go see if they deleted my post. All right, let's see if this fucking works. If not, either way, I need to get the hell home and put a stop to this. All right, let's just see if that makes it click on now. Let's just see. I want to see it all the way fan spin. All right. Well, we'll see. All right, let's get a screen. It was really funny. Like, Lewis comments on my channel as admin every now and then. So if you ever read a comment that sounds like something Lewis would say, it probably is something that he is actually saying. So he's like having some conversation as iPad Rehab with somebody on my channel, and he answers in his like typical Lewis answer, and the guy's like, "You're starting to sound like Lewis. I'm glad you started to finally realize that Lewis was right about whatever." And I'm like, no. I still think that's BS. You're talking to him. That was pretty cool. All right. I guess I'll have to stick it back in here because I don't have... Where's my 5S dock? Maybe stop swearing so much. Not very nice. Hey, Venture Elect, fuck you! I will swear if I want to. I think that... I don't think that this is a boardroom. I think this is a laid-back technology repair shop where any kind of language that you want to use to make a point is fine and appropriate. If we were at Albany lobbying for the right to repair, then I would I would not be wearing sweatpants, and I would not be saying fuck constantly. But I am not. I am over here. All right, respond to that, Doc, you fucker. Plus, everybody knows that boards will never boot unless you say boot, motherfucker, boot. Boot, motherfucker, boot. He wants to boot. He's like right on the cusp. He's got some kind of data line problem. It's just a tad, just a shade too bad. Oh, he's so like close. He's just so flickering, but he's not going to do it. Is it dock related? Could be. Let's see. Let's see if it's that dock. There are a lot of missing filters around the dock. Thought I said I was going to be done with this. All right, let's... Let's slide down the power connector instead. Get on there. Something's still up with that battery connector, I think. Yeah, it's just not on there very well. Doesn't like the power button. It doesn't like the power button at all. Boom, motherfucker, come on, you can do it. Stop wigging out like that. Don't make me have to go troubleshoot dock. Yeah, it's got like a 30 milliamp short somewhere on that battery VCC line, which makes sense. I mean, that's where all the shit is. But I'm too tired to too tired to go on a hunt for that right now. Let's just kick off that dude. So I think I'm just going to go look and see if my post got deleted or if we made a small win. I have to look up which of these guys are required that are all just missing. Like these dudes that are just, whatever is a filter in there that is going to be required for USB to talk through the connector. That connector pin right there is, that's not going to let it boot. That's not going to let it know USB's connected. Oh, I'm too fucking tired. All right. What phone are you fixing? iPhone 5S. You should do a world tour with, I talked about Lewis with that once, that would be kind of fun. The practical board repair school is too dependent on the queue of real devices and real problems. So we can't do that. I see you repairing no SIM repairs. Why? We do? When did we start doing that? Do you teach your kids repair? Absolutely. If they break it, they got to fix it. We did a documentary that'll be out pretty soon where my son did his first ever micro soldering board repair, iPad mini backplate on camera right there. So that was really, really a fun moment. All right, time to put this aside, or I'll just sit here and work on it all night long, and I got shit to do. All right, so this is pretty, I think, pretty straightforward. Water damage, it needs some troubleshooting on the battery VCC line, and maybe I'll come back to it and kind of make it its own video just for the sake of completion, but too tired to do that now. Alrighty, that's it. Hopefully the internet was faster. And that's all I got.